What's going on, everybody? BobbyFi and Eric Sheetsaber. We're going to be talking about today's 9-game MLB slate. Didn't do well yesterday. I didn't play that much, but didn't quite get there. I thought I was going to have some chances, but with the Dodgers there, I wish I would have I had initially the just Ohtani Betts. Who did I have as my three-man? Ohtani Betts, and I think it was Lux who did nothing, but.
Yeah, Teoscar went like 0 for 11 or something like that.
Yeah, didn't quite work out, but it was, felt okay. Sheets, how did you do? And let's talk about it.
No, I didn't do well. I had I cashed in the ball four, but that was pretty much it. Who did I have? Oh, the Gill. I had too much of that. But I did have I made a run in that for a while with the White Sox in that ball four.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because I had the catcher, the Lee, who scored a bunch of points. I had a couple others, but just didn't quite get it done. But we're ready to get after it today. And I didn't check the weather. Are there weather issues today or not really?
So I'll just take a quick look here because let's see. Let me just update it. I just took a quick glance, but I didn't actually go to the weather page here. It doesn't look like there's anything to worry about.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think there's some decent hitting spots, and we'll get to them as we go, I guess. And it's nice to have.
It seems pretty similar to yesterday, I think.
Yeah, well, except for that yesterday we had elite pitching options that we had decided to deal with. And by the way, I actually felt good about the Blaylock play. Nobody did end up playing him. He gave up 2 runs in the bottom of the sixth. Yeah. Otherwise, and he still should have been in line for the win, but they ended up blowing it. The bullpen blew it. So he should have ended up with like 18 to 20 at 4K, which is pretty damn good. So he ended up with 12, but whatever, it is. I still felt good with the process of the play, and yeah. But anyway, we'll get into today. We'll go game by game. But my feeling is that I don't feel like there's any pitching options that are truly like elite options. And
yeah, I mean that is the real big difference because yesterday, I'll tell you, man, those two guys freaking were dealing, Sale and Snell. They were going. That was a good performance, both of them.
Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah. So and Sale, I mean, I don't know, man. Whatever his surgeon was, or whoever got him going again, I mean, like he's freaking insane right now.
He is. It's true.
And Snell too. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks to Temming in the chat. Yeah, I am feeling a lot better. Still a little. Not fully back to healthy, but hopefully on the road. It feels definitely a lot better today at the moment. Knock on wood. Hopefully it doesn't come back to get me. Anyway, let's jump into the game by game here. I think first up you've got Texas and Boston, and this is one of the higher totals on the slate. It's 80 to 78 degrees in Boston. Very little wind, but what little there is seems to be blowing out. At least that's the prediction right now. We've got Urena and Crawford sheets. So what are you looking at here?
I'm looking at the Batskis. I'm looking at specifically Boston against Urena. They're one of my. I mean, I have 5 main stacks here, and Boston's got them like 4th or something like that, but certainly in the top 5. I actually thought I was going to get to Texas, but I didn't. So Boston and neither pitcher for me here.
What's that? I'm sorry, I missed the last part. Sorry about that.
Boston and neither pitcher for me.
Boston and neither pitcher. Yeah, so I'm sort of inclined to agree with you. I think Boston's going to be really popular. I think you could make an argument for Texas just because Crawford is still coming back. Not even coming back. He's just not pitching much, and he hasn't been good in a while. I think we could talk about both sides here. So I have both of them as at first look, at least, 2 teams that I'm strongly considering. Boston does look like the better side, but I am very, very open to going with the Texas side if it gets really low owned. Certainly some spots. Every time I look up in Texas' scored runs, it seems like it's Corey Seager hitting a home run. So whether you're playing it or not, just throw them in the mix of the awesome shortstops on the slate. But yeah, definitely a great spot here to attack. So next up, Oakland in New York.
Dude, this is what we've been waiting for, man, for forever. We have Paul Blackburn revenge.
Yeah.
But I mean, I laugh, but he's certainly in play. So I have two pitchers that on the slate that kind of stand out for me, and then a kind of a group of four that I have as second, and Paul Blackburn is right there. So I do like that. The Stripling at 6K. I'm not really getting there. I don't know. Actually, as a matter of fact, I was expecting to get some Mets, but I didn't get that either. So for me, it's just Blackburn and no hitting.
Yeah, I wonder if people realize, like I've been saying this all year, that Blackburn is better than everybody thinks. And the truth is his numbers would tell you that he's better than everyone thinks. He's like not been bad. Like he's been a good pitcher. I don't know that I want to play a chalky Paul Blackburn, however, against his former team. He's on my list, but it's just something about it I don't feel great about. And I do think that this is a good spot here for the Mets. Against Stripling, and that's probably my highest level of interest. But I'm considering Oakland also. So I hate to start off with a bunch of things, but there's 9 games today, and I think both these teams have some options. Like even if you don't stack Oakland, I think they make sense always like a little bit as a mini stack, especially when Seth Brown is in there at 2.7. You have some real savings. So I have both sides a little bit interested in the hitting, and I'm considering Blackburn, but I hope I don't have to use it. Yeah, that's where I'm at, I guess, basically for that one. All right, KC and what is the next one? KC Minnesota. And
yeah. To me, it looks like a zero pronger for me. I'm not really getting to either of the pitchers, nor am I getting to any of the hitting here. So Lugo's obviously a good pitcher, but just on this slate, I'm just not getting there. You have anything in this game?
No, it's interesting to me that Lugo will be, pretty low owned here, and I think that makes him, I think he's viable enough. This Zebby Matthews, I don't know too much about, but I need to double check because I sometimes this time of the year, especially with my head is just like scrambled, so haven't really kept up on some of the guys just coming up. But I'll check it out. I think from what I remember, he's a prospect that had some hype. So I'll take a look at that one. As of right now, you got to realize, the Royals with only a 4 total, which we don't usually see out of them. So maybe there's something to look into with Matthews. So I've got him with a research next to it, and Lugo at low ownership, just because it's a different thing, and I don't think it's much different than playing him and some of the other guys who are going to be chalky. And when that happens, I think it's worth it to take a shot on some of the lower owned guys. So I do have Lugo on my list, but nothing's a priority for me here. I do think I could even revisit and talk about maybe the Royals hitting if you think that the Matthews gets blown up. I just need to do a little more digging. I'm pretty sure he's the guy I'm thinking of who's got some pretty decent hype around him, and people are going to be into that play a little bit. I don't know if they'll want to do it at this price or whatever. We don't know how many pitches he's going to throw, but I do think that he's probably an interesting, as you would say, like a hipster play. So I'm going to take a look more into the Zebby Matthews before live later.
So White Sox, Yankees, and again, we're getting into football season soon, and getting, NBA is after that. And I just keep on stressing, how different baseball is as a sport, compared to like so many other sports, just because of 1 millimeter off of the bat is different, and the range of outcomes is so wild. It's testament to the thing you've been, I don't want to say whining, talking about for years, about like trying to determine like a winner of the World Series in like a short series or something like that. There's just so much freaking variance in baseball. Like think of like whatever the basketball or football equivalent of like the Yankees just going into the White Sox against the rookie pitcher with Lucas Gill as a 3-1 favorite or whatever, and losing by 10 runs. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's nothing. You know what I mean? Like it's and nobody was particularly shocked. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, I guess so. It's like
right. Like in basketball, that would be like the Celtics losing at home by 40 to like Portland or something. You know what I mean?
The Pistons. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. The Pistons, exactly.
So it's just, but that's just the range of outcomes. That's just the way it's going to be. So with that said, right back to the well. Yankees are projecting like it's clearly the best hitting environment or best hitting situation on the day, and Nestor Cortez is projecting as one of the top 2 pitchers of the day. So once again, chalky Cortez, chalky Yankees, and you're not allowed to complain if you play both of those things and they both bust, and that's just the way it is. Once again, I'm curious to run the Sims and see if I'd be getting to any White Sox as leverage or anything like that. I will just say that if you get to them, I wouldn't X them out. And I'll tell you this, even in the ball four, let me tell you something. When what's his name, Lee hit that home run or whatever it is, a couple of these White Sox were piling it on. I was looking and pretty much like all the good players are playing them. You know what I mean? Like Utica, like half his lineups were like stacked with the White Sox. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not even like off the board anymore. To do this.
Right. And like you said, even if it's off the board, like there's some people who are like some of the top players are gonna we'll put 50% of our lineups in like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Drawing dead a little bit. It's
exactly. But anyway, yes, Cortez, Yankees, top two. I would say Cortez top, 1-1A pitcher, and Yankees certainly top stack.
Yeah, I'm just gonna point something out about Cortez. So this guy has gotten out of the fifth inning one time in his last 6 starts. He's literally gotten into the fifth inning even one time in his last 6 starts. In his last 12 starts, 15 starts, 15 starts, he's hit over 20 fantasy points 2 times. Now, look, it's obviously a premium matchup. To play it at 40% ownership or 35 or whatever it ends up being today feels fishy. At the same time, everything else feels fishy to me. So maybe the right answer is doing something like the Lugo thing or something different, because there's some real. I mean, this is no joke. Like he's literally like going nowhere in these games, and he's just getting beaten around all like crazy. So maybe playing the White Sox is an interesting off the board play, and certainly the Yankees make sense. I don't think people are going to be afraid to go back to them because they had a bad night last night. And by the way, the fact that they had left the bases loaded 2 out of the first 3 innings, I think.
Yeah.
And they had 7 walks through 4 innings and 5 hits, and they scored 1 run. That's really hard to do. Just mathematically, it's really hard to do. So I don't expect to see that happen again. That was part of my problem too, is I had the Judge and Soto with the Betts and Ohtani in my stacks because I was playing the 4K guy. So I thought I could get away with it. And I played Bowden Francis on the other side. I had the Bowden Francis and the 4K guy. Bowden Francis was unbelievable. I could stack up all these guys, but look, the Yankees, plenty of bases loaded, second and third type situations for Judge and Soto, and they just didn't, and Stanton, and they didn't come through. But I'll be happy to go back to the Yankees again. They're the most logical team we've come across so far, but I think that they're also going to be owned like it. All right, you know what I'm going to do here. Go ahead, Sheets.
Yeah, so Colin Ray is coming off a C-only performance. Pretty close, right? 9 strikeouts, 7 innings pitched, 1 walk, whatever. And now he's going against the Dodgers. So I think the Dodgers they have them as one of my top 5 stacks. So I definitely into that. I'm not getting to any of the pitching. I'm not playing Stone. I'm not playing Ray, and I'm not getting to Milwaukee. So for me, Dodgers one of the top 5 stacks, and I'll leave the expansion of that idea to you.
Love the Dodgers. I've been trying to get my money back from Colin Ray for whatever reason, just being absolutely awesome in every game where I seem to stack against him, and then only really the games he struggled have been probably the times I didn't stack against him. I will be stacking against him tonight, and I believe in this. The Dodger lineup's getting healthier. We saw glimpses of it last night. And you see what happens with guys like Mookie and Shohei. They both hit a home run and steal a base. Like it's hard to get 28 fantasy points as a hitter, and these guys both can go out there and do it like anytime. Freddie Freeman feels underpriced at 5.1. I like the way that the pitch profile matches up with the Dodgers. I think this is a really good spot to go after the Dodgers again. And of course, every time I will say with warning though, every time I've said this against Colin Ray, he's beating the hell out of me. So maybe those of you who are a little more frisky want to get Colin Ray in your lineups. I'm not going to go there. I don't mind Milwaukee as a stack against Stone, but I don't think I actually need to do that today. But Stone has definitely looked a little bit off in his last few starts. Good bullpen behind him for what it's worth, but I would have no issue if anybody wanted to play Milwaukee. I just didn't get to it myself. All right. Let's see, the Toronto and the Angels.
I mean, same as before. I mean, I have Toronto as one of the top 5, just like I did yesterday. But here we're including the Toronto pitching in play a little bit here too. So I do have Gausman as one of my 4 secondary pitchers. So I definitely like him, and Toronto showing up as one of the top 5 as well. So both ends of that are in play. I'm not getting any Fulmer right now. I'm not getting to any Angels right now either.
Yeah. So I think that, again, it's the same thing. I agree. Like that, I don't know about. So I think Gausman is probably the best play on the slate. That's just my first look thought. I think that we think he's broken, and he's given us some reasons to. He pitched awesome against Baltimore. He just didn't strike anybody out in the last game. I mean, he pitched 8 innings, 8 full innings against Baltimore. Gave up what? He gave up that 1-2-run homer, I believe, and. I think he's looked, really good lately outside of the one start against the Yankees. There's something to be concerned about with the strikeouts and stuff. The Angels will help you out with a little bit with that. And I think he's actually like a really good play, considering that he's going to be so much less owned than these other guys. So I actually have Gausman as more of a priority. This could change by the end of the day. I know there's people who are concerned about him, but I personally think he's as good or a better pitcher than a lot of the other guys are. He just has been struggling somewhat this year. And I would be happy to play him. And I am also happy to go right back to the Toronto side. They're the other team that I have. It's probably just around my top 5, right in that mix. All right. What do you have here?
Erod is back. I didn't even realize that. And he's against the Colorado, so he's going to be in play for me as a secondary option. Eduardo Rodriguez, yes. Arizona once again. Again, it's a very similar slate to last night with respect to the hitting options. Again, but the pitching options are not quite as fruitful. So, but Arizona certainly one of my top 5. I already said Yankees, Boston, Dodgers, Toronto. Like these are like my 5 top ones. So, definitely like Arizona, and Erod is a secondary pitching option as well.
Yeah, so Erod looks on paper like a decent option. I feel like this is another, but I feel this way with every pitcher. You know what I mean? Like I like Gausman, but if you told me Gausman, if I looked and he said he was projected to be 50% owned, I would say I hate Gausman. You know what I mean? But he's 18 or 20 versus other guys who are going to be 30 or 40 who I don't think are any better. That makes me like him. Erod, sure. It's Colorado. That's what he's got going for him, I guess. But this is his second start back. I don't think they're going to crazy extend him. Might still be enough, but it's gonna, again, if we can find some cheap pitching on this slate, maybe we should think about it, because I don't really have like that many guys that are that cheap, but I don't feel great about a lot of these arms. So Arizona is going to show up as being a really good stack. Sure. My feelings, I always like to pivot when everybody goes against Gomber, but actually they're not getting that much ownership. So I guess I have to consider Arizona a little stronger just because of the lack of ownership. And look, large field, definitely consider Colorado as well. All right, then we've got, and before we get to that one, I want to take a quick look at the weather in the Bay, just to, it's up to 62 degrees today. It's finally cracked the 60-degree barrier in the middle of, or the end of summer. All right, Morton and Harrison sheets.
I actually had the Michael King one next, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I jumped ahead. I'm sorry about that, sheets.
Yeah. So, Michael King is the other one. Him and Cortez, two Yankee, whatchamacallit, prospects.
Yeah.
And hey, you know what? Michael King's been pretty freaking good, I have to say. Yeah. 9,500 Michael King. I guess that's the environment. I guess I've nothing in his game log to dispute that's what he should be. A couple of 20s, a couple of close to 30s, a couple of off games. This is what $9,500 pitchers look like, and it's got an okay matchup as well. So yeah, he's certainly fine, and he's certainly going to be owned. Hitting, really not much for me here, and I'm not going to get to the Ortiz. So just Michael King, one of the best options on the slate, and that's it.
Yep. I totally agree, and it's also a thing where I'd be happy to pivot when Michael King is going to be this chalky. But as I mentioned, there's really nobody to pivot to that you feel all that great about. I like the Michael King play. I just think it's going to end up steaming and having a ton of ownership, which is fine. It's a back-to-back. He did just face this team for what it's worth. He's had that happen. I don't think he's had it happen actually for a while. Yeah, I'm good with King. I like the Padres a little bit. No ownership. They actually have one of the higher totals on the slate. That's of the teams that aren't getting any ownership. It's not the prettiest lineup in the world, and it's kind of hard to know how to stack it exactly. But I do think it's an interesting, just really low owned stack. So I actually have the Padres like not far behind the other teams like the Diamondbacks. We say Chalky. Brent's sitting here saying Chalky King never feels good, and that might be true. But just go through Michael King's game log. What is he? He's never really letting you down. You know what I mean? He's sort of always right in there with you, and he's always putting up a decent enough number, and that might be good enough to win tonight. Now the problem is he's just going to be doing it as chalk, and we don't have that massive upside guy tonight. But I say that now, and probably somebody goes out and throws a no-hitter or something.
No, I mean, I don't know about the upside of these pitchers today. It's
doesn't feel good.
I don't think you need to ask for much either. So
okay.
But I'll say this: that even the hitting doesn't look so great. It looks like, I don't know. I hate to say this, but it kind of feels like a sheet slate. It kind of feels like 150 points could be
the winner.
Could be plenty. I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, listen. The Yankees are always live for a 10 ball. You know what I mean? In this game.
Right.
And I have to say, I'd like to say that the Dodgers now that Mookie is back, and you get that Mookie Friedman Ohtani combination going every day, then they're always live for 10.
Oh yeah, and don't forget you've got Will Smith like batting sixth now. Like it's pretty cool.
So I mean, but as far as like pure, I mean, we'll finish this off here, but feels like a low scoring slate. So okay, so Morton against San Francisco, sure. I mean, fine. He's one of my secondary options as well. So to finish off the secondary options, I have the Gausman, Erod, Morton, and Blackburn. Not getting to Harrison, and nor am I getting really to the hitting. So yeah, I'll put Morton right in that list. So Morton, and that's pretty much all I have right now for you.
Yeah, these are my other two favorite pitchers behind King and Gausman. Both Morton and Harrison I like a lot. I don't know. I don't know how you measure it versus Snell pitching the game before, but Harrison is obviously not as good as Snell. But we did just see Snell just basically say, I mean, San Francisco didn't have a hit till the sixth inning last night, and I think they struck out, every other at bat basically. Excuse me. Sorry about that.
Nor did San Francisco. I mean, nor did Atlanta. You know what I mean?
Oh no, exactly. But it was a lefty. I'm talking about it because they're both lefties and pitching against the same team against. I'd rather than Morton. But yeah, Morton King probably feels like something I would consider doing if I was playing cash. But that even feels just feels funky. I might have to look more into this Zebby thing. But I've got those four as my main pitchers, and then I've got a bunch of stacks that I'm considering. But Boston, New York Mets, New York Yankees, Dodgers, Toronto, Arizona, Padres. I'm still working out who's my favorite of those teams, and I even have like KC, the White Sox, Texas, and Oakland being in consideration. So as there's no pitching that I love, there are plenty of stacks that I love. So that is that's the way I'm going to play tonight's slate, and try to figure out a way of narrowing down those stacks and trying to find some different pitching options, because I really don't like any of this stuff outside of King at the top, and even that I don't feel like is like a lock to try and score a bunch. It'd be really nice if we had somebody, I wish that Blaylock play was on this slate sheets. That would have been nice to play today, that 4K guy.
I have a question. Is Texas going to be popular?
No.
I asked that, and this is why I asked it. So I ran two sets of SaberSim builds just now. One just using the SaberSim regular kind of formula, and the other's using the Sims. And the main stacks are pretty similar, in both sets. Yankees, Toronto, Arizona, and actually the White Sox, which I just knew, right? But the one team that's actually weirdly showing up, like in the non-simmed lineups, is Texas. Like I'd be getting like 50% Texas, and then when I actually apply like the Sims, I'd be getting significantly less actually. So I would be interested to know why that might be. I mean, interested like mathematically, I guess, but it's not like I wouldn't be getting. Yeah, that's Texas. When I sim this out, like it goes from like 40% owned or 60% of my stacks to like 10.
Yeah,
so,
Temming is doing it also. I think that's actually a very reasonable stack. And part of it, so like just to give an example of how SaberSim does things, one of the interesting things. So they've got Texas at 5.1, runs, which I know these numbers are not like hugely different, but they do make a big difference in the projections. And their actual total is 4.5, So they like Texas better than the thing that's, and I'm kind of inclined to agree with them. Cutter Crawford, I mean, he's another one who just hasn't given up less than 5 runs in 5 innings. He's basically given up more than a run an inning for his last 4 starts, and including again one against Texas. So I like that Texas idea sheets quite a bit actually. They were on my consideration, but I think I might even bump them a little bit higher.
But and the other thing about the Yankees thing, I mean, the projected lineups right now. I mean, I have for the White Sox, I have a number 1 and 2 hitter for like 5K combined. You have I have Vargas and Sosa batting 1-2 right now
for
the White Sox.
Yeah,
at 2,600 and 2,400.
Yeah,
that's tough. You know what I mean? Like,
and you get Benintendi in the middle of it with who's 2,800.
I don't even have him in. I mean, I have Robert hitting 3rd at 44. Then I have Vaughn 4th at 44. I guess Benintendi probably 5th because I'm not looking at that particular stat.
He's projected, like, it depends on where you look. He's from MLB.com. He's projected to bat 3rd today.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
But I think he probably bat 6th today.
And then I got Baldwin hitting 7th at like 800 or whatever his price is. Right? He's 2,500. Also, he swings hard. So what do I have for the Dodgers here? I have pretty much the same as yesterday. I have Lux hitting 5th, Hernandez hitting 8th, Rojas 7th, Hernandez 4th. I mean, it looks pretty much the same.
Just wait till we get Muncy back and imagine how good that Dodger lineup will look.
Yeah, and what do they have in the Yankees? Ben Rice 4,500 from the 8-hole. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, there's your little own Yankee play. There's your way to get different.
Yeah, there it is. There's the winner, right?
Right.
Or Volpe's slated to hit 9th today at 3,900.
But everybody plays him anyway. Even if he bats 9th, they always play him.
That's true. Because what are these Brewers here? I'm just looking at some of these stacks. Yeah. Mitchell 3,200 from the 3. Yeah,
I like that. But he bats. They change it every day with him. Sometimes he bats 3rd, sometimes he bats 9th. They put him. He went from batting 9th against a righty to batting 3rd against Kershaw. And by the way, I know it didn't come up for the numbers because they pulled him one pitch one thing too early, and they almost ended up blowing the game because of it. But Kershaw pitched terrific yesterday in real life. He did. He did really well. So maybe he's on his way back. All right. Well, it's going to be fun. We'll be live with you guys at 6 Eastern time. We've got the 111. So the big spread out for the semi-high buy-in stuff. There's the 150 on FanDuel. I haven't looked over on FanDuel yet, but I will update with my core and all my.
I did. So I'll just share that with you, with you guys. It's really the same. Like I have Michael King, top pitcher over there, followed by Nestor Cortez. There's nobody that really gets a big bump as far as my numbers go. And then as far as hitting, it's, FanDuel, you can play whoever you want anyway. So it's same guys, Yankees, Toronto, Arizona, Boston, Dodgers, the same stuff.
Sounds good. All right, guys. Well, good luck today. We'll see you guys at 6 Eastern time. Anything else, Sheets, before we get out of here?